Hey guys, welcome back to the shop and welcome to 2025. It's hard to believe that 2024 went that fast, but we're going to jump right in here. Just like I do every year, I'm going to start off with a shop tour, and there's a lot of changes this year. I've also been asked to go into a little bit more detail about why my layout is set up the way that it is and my thinking behind it. So I'm going to try to go into that as well. And I'll do that at all the stations around the shop as well. I've been asked to show a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff and, you know, what does it take me to get a shot for YouTube? So I'll touch more on that at the end, but let's jump right in on the shop tour. We're going to start in that corner, I think, just like pretty much we always do. And you'll get to see the new drill press. Okay, so this is obviously my drill press corner. This is probably the most compact corner I have in this entire shop. Obviously, I have the drill press. I have the rag bin. I also have my chemical storage back here. I do have a battery charger back here for my 12-volt DeWalt's. The mini split is up here. I have speakers up here, and then I have accessories for all of this. All of the drill bits and Forstner bits and everything for this live right here in this drawer, and I'll give you some close-ups of this with the slide trays and everything else, as well as my regular drill station is right here, so it kind of keeps everything drilling all together. So let me bring in here a little closer and I'll show you the new drill press. So this is the Laguna DP20, and it has a lot of really cool features. Variable speed, obviously, is really nice. It has a super bright LED light in the back, which makes seeing the work really nice. It also has a really functional laser, and I don't know if that shows up on camera. The downside to the laser is as you adjust the table, you have to adjust the laser to be on point. It's not super hard, it's just a couple of screws here on a Roberts drive. Super easy to adjust. Single pull for the full throw. I absolutely love that. And a depth gauge and all that good stuff as well. It also has an auto start feature. So if I turn this on and then go to the auto start feature, it won't actually come on until I start to pull the handle, which is just super nice. And then when I release the handle, it shuts down. And it'll continue to do that until I turn it off. The push button features on this are just outstanding. You can set it in imperial or metric. So it's good that way. You can also set the 0, and the stop is actually very user friendly. So I like the machine a lot. What I don't like about the machine, or what I don't think I like about the machine, is the work holding on the drill press itself. They rely on some match fit stuff or these holes versus the more traditional stuff, and that might be just more a case of I need to spend some time and get used to it, which I'm doing. I did pick up the match fit stuff. It's here, so I am working towards getting used to what's here before I throw in the towel and just build a new router or a new drill press table for this, more along the lines of what I had before. Currently what I have up here for a fence is the mag switch, which is super beefy. It's really nice stuff, but again, I just don't know if it's my favorite for a drill press table. So more to follow as I get through some projects on this. And yeah, let's move on this direction this time. And we'll go the other way around the room from what we did last year. And we'll go do the miter station next. Okay, so starting down here on the right side of my miter bench, obviously I have the upper cabinets My drill station is here. It's next to the drill press. Again, that just eliminates a bunch of walking in the shop to get what I need. If it's drilling, I know it's all going to live right here. As well as I have Festool sustainer storage down here. It's a fairly simple Formica top with T-track in it, so I can put stop blocks anywhere I want. And I love to hang the clips up on the cupboards. So that houses all the notes for the current project. So as you know, I'm working on a kitchen remodel right here. So all of that stuff is right here. As well, my epoxies, my glues, and my dyes, and my sanding blocks, that all lives up here. And I'm not sure how far this goes, but as well as there's some hand tools and stuff over here. We'll go into more of this when I get down there. But as far as what's in the cupboards, this one is kind of overflow and future projects. Like there's some stool parts up there that I know I'm going to build some new stools. Things like that are in here, some 5-inch casters, some bookshelf brackets, stuff like that. So overflow and parts for future. In this cupboard, this is all kind of hardware storage. And I really like to get these super clear bins. I usually buy them at the big box store, and they're typically made for refrigerators. But I like them because they're super clear, so I can see what's in the bin. They are a little bit more expensive, but most of this stuff is hardware, and of course a little bit of overflow up there as well. Moving down, this is the I need a quick gift cupboard. A lot of simple turning stuff, pepper mills and brass hammers and pizza cutters and ice cream scoops and knives and things like that. That all kind of lives in here. So when I need to toss together a quick gift, I can come to this cupboard and see what I have on hand and make my selection from there. Now I do try to keep some of this stuff on hand specifically for that purpose. With the holidays and all of that, I'm probably running just a little bit thin right now because I've reached in here a few times to get some quick gifts knocked out. So the heart of the miter station in this case is the Festool Capex, and it has a dedicated CT vac. I'll show you some close-up footage here, and you will see that the dust collection, even with their full setup, is not all that it's advertised to be. And that's why I mounted the cleanup hose back here, just to facilitate cleaning up around the saw when I'm done around a project. Of course, all of the drawers and stuff are fairly well organized. This one has got some extra screws and a lot of shim material that I use in various places. And things of that nature. Moving down is band clamps and some hold downs. And then this is all edge banding stuff. And then the rest of them are pretty much all sanding stuff. Inside of this one lives my vacuum pot and my vacuum pump. Not that I use them that often, but they are here when I need them. So moving down to the left side of the miter station is mostly horizontal space, and this gets used often during a project, just like it is now, for some off-cut stuff. These are scraps and things that I may still use in the project, but I'm not going to necessarily go put them away, so they live up here. And there are times when this horizontal surface, it gets full in a hurry. In the drawers on this side, again, is more organization, glue brushes, glue sticks, some bigger things, a little bit of electrical stuff. Stuff I don't use a great deal. In reality, based on the way that I set up a shop, my glue brushes should be down in that drawer. And will probably move in the future because it's closer to where I actually do my work. The next drawer down is all various size dominoes, as well as some track guides and things like that for the router. My Dremel set lives in this drawer. Tap and dies, things of that nature down here. And the rest of this is all pretty much overflow, spraying supplies and things of that nature. The Festool CT26, of course, lives right here. This drawer is all camera equipment. Again, it lives the furthest drawer away from my primary work location, so it's all just overflow camera stuff. In this bin lives all my spraying equipment. I run the Fuji Q4, and I have a couple, probably 3 guns that I use in the air hose, and those are all on pull-out, so I can pull out and get to all of that stuff. My hollow chisel mortiser lives here, as well as a couple of jigs to go with the bandsaw, my big bandsaw, which is right here, and we'll move down and I'll show you that next. Okay, down here is the saw that I primarily use for resawing, and that is the Laguna 18BX. One of those jigs that I alluded to on that other side is just a riser block to bring my miter station up to the same level as the bed on this. I did install the Laguna DX3 resaw fence on this. And it does a really nice job. I'm super happy with it. I'm running a Resaw King in here on a 3/4 inch, and it just does an awesome job. Okay, and just behind that big bandsaw is my big roll-up door for bringing materials in and hauling large projects out, as well as my sheet goods storage, both full sheets and offcuts. Now, I try not to keep too many full sheets in here. I typically buy what I need as I need it. And then, of course, I end up with offcuts, which eventually will get used up, but sometimes it takes a while. Okay, so down here, just on the other side of my roll-up door, is my offcut bin. These are offcuts that I typically keep. Sometimes when this gets really overrun, as it's getting close to now, we have fires and we just burn it. But I have reached out to the local turners and some other woodworkers, and I pay this stuff forward before I go throw it on the fire. And sometimes that is reciprocal. They'll do some things for me as well, which is always greatly appreciated. The shop stereo lives up here. Of course, I have speakers scattered around the room, and it does plenty fine for what I need as well. I call this the DeWalt wall. Just, you know, various DeWalt machines that I don't use very often. Again, they're the furthest away from my primary work location because I don't reach for this stuff very often. I often get asked, is DeWalt better than Milwaukee, is better than Makita, better than whatever, right? And to all that I answer no. I prefer to stay in my battery family. So I started in DeWalt and I just stayed in DeWalt. I have no loyalty to DeWalt. Frankly, if I were starting over, I would probably be with the Milwaukee stuff. But the DeWalts all served me very well over the years. Additionally, I have a little bit of vertical storage over here for lumber. Again, this needs to be gone through and cleaned out a bit, but it's nice to have some of this stuff here in the shop when I need it. Okay, so moving around, this is the lathe corner. This is the Laguna Revo 2436. Wonderful machine. I absolutely love it. I'm currently in the middle of a Christmas project. I'm actually turning some of these small brass hammers for Christmas gifts. This video won't be out till after Christmas, so they'll have already gotten them. These are the 2 roll-around carts that we did last year, and this is how I usually have them configured when I'm turning at the lathe. Just makes everything handy and easy to get to. And I pop my tools here in the pull-out or in the pop-up trays on the side of this cart when I'm in use. But I still have the pull-out here that I can use, and that's full of tools as well. as well as the drawers and things of that. All my sharpening stuff is over here. I have the Rikon slow speed grinder. I have the Tormek. I also have a 12-inch disc sander out here. I'm not sure if that shows up. Again, that's something that I don't use very often. So again, it's the furthest away. Now there's a lot of times where there's, say, drilling tools for here, and I don't want to walk all the way over there to get them. So I actually duplicate those over here, drill bits being the big one, drill bits and Forstner bits. And they all live right in here, so they're easy to access when I need to use them here at the lathe. In fact, drilling a hole here is the next thing I have to do on that. So I will set that up accordingly. Over here, I don't know if this one shows up, is the 15-inch planer. It is a Powermatic. I am not a Powermatic fan, but this machine has been really good to me. The parts that are up here are drawer and door parts for the kitchen remodel that's been ongoing. But like I said, I wasn't going to clean up the shop much for this particular shop tour. And over here behind the vertical storage is where the dust collector lives. This is a Clearview Cyclone, and it's run off of an 8-inch main, and I'll take some pictures from back here for you and let you see kind of how the dust collection is run. But it's been a workhorse. It's done a really nice job for me, and I'm super happy to have it in my shop. If I have a regret, I wish that I would have put it outside because it is loud. Okay, so moving down this wall, I have my main entry door, which is a French door. I can open both sides to facilitate getting larger projects out. I have the Supermax 1938 here on a custom stand that I built. I believe there's plans for this on the website, but again, the drawers are all organized. This is mostly overflow fasteners, things that I just don't get to very often. Again, because my primary work location is all the way over on the other side of the room. So just things that I do not get to very often. This has got a little metal bender in it, which I use once in a blue moon. Could probably be stored in the other garage. This is mostly sticks for sticker and stacking my parts, which I did not do a good job with on those parts. And then this bottom one is some extra routers and things. So I primarily use the Festool router over there, or a small trim router that I'll show you in a couple of minutes. But I still have some extra routers and stuff here for when I need to set up multiple routers for an operation. So again, moving down this wall, I have my laser set up over here. Admittedly, I don't use it very often. That may very well end up for sale. I'm not sure. I have a TV in the shop, although I don't have that on very often either, as well as the hand tool wall, which of course this stuff I use all the time, and I'll give you a nice close-up view of inside of the bin. And then this is the bench itself, which has bench crafted hardware on it, both the leg vise and the tail vise. Currently, it's being used to store things until I'm a little bit more ready. There's some babenga here for the vertical post on the pantry remodel that we're doing. And then all my hinges are here. And then this is some internal lighting stuff for when I start doing the other side of the kitchen. But I won't need that for a while. So let me bring you over here. I'll show you the inside of the cabinet, and then we'll move around. Okay, so hopefully you all remember this project from early last year. It's holding up wonderfully. I'm super happy with this cabinet, but it just houses the hand planes and the various hand tools so that they're available when I need them. And then we close the doors, and it opens up my hand tool wall on this side, which is the things that I get to just a little bit more often. And this dead corner off of the end usually gets my camera gear and all that kind of stuff stored in there, as well as a shooting board and a big panel saw and things like that. So we'll switch the camera around. We got one more wall to go, and then we got the center island. Okay, so moving around here to the Jessam router table. Again, we did the big upgrade on this one last year as well with the new fence and all of that stuff, as well as the router bit storage, which I need to get me some holes drilled in this last block that I have up here because I'm running out of space. And I really hope I don't have to upgrade this one soon to put more bits in, but that's probably inevitable. Of course, all of the fence storage stuff lives over here. I have an extra miter gauge over here, which is the Incra 1000 that I put over here. And I used that at the router table for a long time. But part of this upgrade package last year was this miter slide for here, which is absolutely awesome. So this will end up finding a new home here at some point. Off this side of the router table, I have another CT26. There's a lot of times I just sand right here on the side of that bench or even on the router table. Just when I need to touch something up real quick, I might sand right there. But if not, this sander comes out to my primary work location. And moving down this wall, this was a project we did a little over a year ago for additional storage and stuff like that over here. I absolutely love having this bench here. I put a couple of outlets in the top. Admittedly, it becomes a little bit of a collection point, especially when I'm doing video and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff just gets left here on the bench. And of course, the clamp wall, you never have enough clamps, and even with this many, there have been many times that I wish that I had more. In hindsight, I wish I would have bought fewer of the long and more of the very short, because I tend to use the very short clamps more based on the work that I do. I do have some other clamps, some pipe clamps that aren't shown here. Some of them I store over there by the sheet goods, and some of them I store out in the shed. Again, because they're items I don't use very often. They're the furthest away from my primary work location. Okay, and that brings us all the way around to the last piece of major equipment on the walls, and that's the Laguna 14BX. I run 2 bandsaws in here, so I'm not constantly switching blades, and this has been an outstanding machine. I should mention on both bandsaws, I replaced the stock ceramic guides with Carter guides, and they are a significant upgrade and well worth the money. As well, I run a small little, I don't know if you can see it, little California Air Tools compressor over here. It's on a hose reel, and I can take that just about anywhere in the shop. As well, my whiteboard lives over here. Currently, I have all my part sizes for some of the doors and drawers on the kitchen remodel, but I use that whiteboard a tremendous amount. And again, it lives right next to my primary work location, which is this table right here. So that's kind of the perimeter around the wall, and we'll move over and we'll take a look at the center island and the heartbeat of the shop. So starting back here on the back side, this outfeed table has been a workhorse in my shop for ever since I started doing videos, even probably a little bit before. And in my original shop, this was my outfeed table, my assembly table, my bench. This was absolutely everything. So it has a lot of features on it that I really like and I still use to this day. It does have a bench crafted leg vise, which of course I love. And this side also has what I call CT parking as well. It just goes underneath and my boom arm reaches everything on this table. And I have power on this end. There are drawers in it, although admittedly there's just not much in the drawers right now. Coming down off this end, it does have an H&T Gordon tail vise, and the dog holes line up, as well as my spindle sander lives under here, and it's on a KitchenAid lift. And then the hose from the CT vac, of course, hooks right up to this. So I have dust collection here at the spindle sander when I need it. And this is the Powermatic 2000B. If you've followed my videos for any length of time, you'd know that this saw was an absolute disaster when it got here, and Powermatic did a horrible job of making it right. And that's one of the big reasons I'm not a Powermatic fan. However, I do currently have the saw set up, functioning as it should, and it's dead on accurate. So I'm still with this saw. Off of this side is the various jigs and sleds that I use right here at the table saw. There's some others up on the wall and stuff, but again, that's stuff that I don't use nearly as often here, so it lives further away. And on this side is more table saw storage, and I love that it fits underneath. I still have access to the handles for the tilt and all of that. And up in the top is a dado stack, as well as some zero clearance fence clamps and things of that nature. Some various feather boards and push sticks and things of that live down here. This is all extra saw blades. I rotate my saw blades. I try to do it frequently. I run mostly Forest Woodworker 2 blades. And the one that's on the saw now is due to go out for service. So I will put it in this box, send this box to Forest. They will sharpen it and send it back to me. And I will take the blade out of this box and I will put it on the saw. So I'm constantly rotating blades. This drawer is pretty much spare stuff. I do have a box, another dado stack down here for doing box joints and things of that nature. And then some alignment jigs for the saw. And then in the bottom are various zero clearances that I use, as well as a respirator. If I'm not going to use my dust collection at the table saw, I will use a respirator. And the last item kind of on this center island is my hammer, A341A, which is a 16-inch joiner. Absolutely love this joiner. If I had a complaint, I'm not a big fan of the Euro guard, so a lot of times in the video you see that removed altogether, and admittedly I should not do that. Okay, so that brings us all the way around full circle back to where we started, and as I've said several times through this, this is my primary work location. I don't remember what year we built this, but it was quite a while ago. The top is replaceable, and it's due to be replaced. It's pretty beat up. But because this is my primary work location, the things I use most right here live right here. And I'll bring this camera around here in just a second and kind of show you what those things are. But my clamp storage is just a couple of steps this way. My Festool stuff is just a couple of steps this way. Sanding station I can either do right there or right there. Again, just a couple of steps away. Those things that I don't use as frequently, they live further away. So I count steps from this location when I'm trying to decide on what gets a home. So as you'll see in a minute, I still have drawers in here that aren't full. Some of that is just for future growth, and some of it is just working through projects and finding those things that I use most frequently, and then coming and finding a home for them close. So let's switch this camera around, and I'll kind of give you a close-up view of what lives in these drawers currently. Okay, so living in this very top drawer is mostly layout stuff, squares, things of that nature. I leave a small block plane in here, as well as a mallet in here. And I left room for growth. So as I find tools that I'm reaching for more frequently, I have room to add those here. Next drawer down is mostly the fasteners that I use most frequently when working on a project. I don't do a lot with screws and that sort of thing, but when I need them, I know that they're right here in this drawer. Next drawer down is wide open. And I say it a lot, always leave room for growth. And this is an entire drawer. So if I switch interests and go to carving, for instance, I have an entire drawer here that I can load up and just make just for carving stuff. Next drawer down has got my pin nailer, or my brad nailer, I should say, as well as an angle drill. I like this Festool drill. It's not worth the money, but it does have the 90-degree attachment, so I like that. And then I have a couple of router bit accessories and things like that that go with my lead dovetail jig and that sort of thing. And they could actually find another home way over there because I just don't use them that often. But this drawer is currently set up. And the last drawer down here has got some miscellaneous templates and circle guides and things like that. These are things that I find that I use frequently, but don't have a permanent home. So I put them in here for now until I get enough things to finally go ahead and organize this drawer and figure out how I want it laid out. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is kind of show you some behind the scenes stuff and what it takes to set up for a shot, at least for me. I don't have any videographers or anything of that nature, so I do all this stuff myself. I do use this small little Osmo guy quite a bit. For any moving shots you see, I use this guy. But my primary camera over there, I use this, and I walked around. I'm going to show you that. But for the purposes of this next demo, I'm going to use my backup camera here, both of which are Canon T7s, and they're really nice cameras, and they do a good job. But they're not all that in a bag of chips either. But I'm going to use this camera to set up a typical shot at the table saw. I'm going to take my primary camera and set it in the back of the room so you can kind of see how I set up lights and do all that kind of stuff, just to get ready to shoot what might end up being 2 or 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds in one of these videos. So all of this has been sped up because, quite frankly, it's kind of boring to watch. You'll notice me turning on the light of the overhead here. I have those set up at various places all over the shop. You can see another one over there above the chop saw. Again, this is just to aid with the lighting just a little bit, but it does take me a few minutes to set up for individual shots. I'm going to go ahead and actually cut a piece on the table saw here so you can see how much it took me to set this up versus how much it actually takes me to cut or make the shot. All right, guys, so there you go. That's typically what I go through to set up for any particular shot. You notice the overhead lights, I do have them strategically placed in the shop just to help me with some of this lighting stuff. But the lighting is super important when doing videos. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. I hope you got something out of it. If you have questions, reach out to me, either email or the forums or wherever. And I hope you enjoyed my 2025 shop tour. I encourage you to go back and look at 24 compared to 25 and see all these wonderful changes. So that's going to wrap it up. And until next time, guys, take care.